the status of Tayshaun? It looks like he's on crutches, so I would think that it doesn't look good for him playing this week.
Yeah, it was a tough deal for him, especially the plays he was making in the second half defensively. He took a big step in that game, and to go down on that last play, he was a big part of getting that stop, and then so he'll miss a few weeks with this. He's got an ankle, and I don't want to put a specific time frame on it. A lot of it will depend on how quickly he heals and the therapy, and then we'll see.
What about, obviously, this is a road trip. You haven't swept a road trip in a while, and this would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, we're kind of looking at it more of a game-to-game situation, and that's how we've approached the last several games, and it's been pretty productive for us. So that's how we're looking at this. Looking at Stanford and the issues that they present for you, and they're having a great season, and it jumps out on film how hard they play, how hard they compete, especially defensively, and Jared's got those guys playing at a pretty high level.
What do you think the team can do to develop more consistency with three-point shooting as the season goes on?
I mean, it's game to game, and we're just we got to take the right ones. They got to be good looks, open looks, and but I'm pleased overall. I mean, I don't want to just talk about specific areas of our team overall. When you could, when I'm coming off a game where we shoot 31% and we win against a top 50 team, then I'm going to be happy. So I'm just going to be really positive today.
This team really seems to have a come from behind, never say die kind of mentality.
I just think each game presents different challenges, and we've managed to find a route to winning lately, and I think the one thing that has been pretty consistent that we felt like was within our control is free throw shooting, and again, that'll be tested on the road. We have to be able to make our free throws, and that was an issue in our last time that we lost, and we were 8 for 15, and in a close game we couldn't afford to do that, and we've shot the ball at the free throw line a lot better the last 3 games.
On that subject, the team seems to have sort of mentality if they're down the second half where they're able to come back and take the lead. What do you try to drill into your players to get them in that mindset?
You gotta count on your defense. You got to get stops. I think because of our style that we can pressure our opponent and force mistakes, and that's why it's a little bit easier to get back a deficit. Certain teams that play a slower, more deliberate style, it's harder for them to erase a deficit. I think the way we play helps us some in that regard.
Coach, does it feel different at all from the last 2 seasons where you're sort of peaking at this point and you maybe have more to squeeze out of this part of the season than you had in years past?
Yeah, I've liked what I've seen over the last 10 days since Washington State, and even prior to that, the way we beat Arizona, it was a turning point for our season, and it's brought more hope to what we're doing, and I could tell just how we've been practicing leading into that. I think the guys understand how well we need to practice to prepare, and I don't think that we always did that. Earlier in the year, after a big win, we had a hard time moving on to the next challenge, and we've done a better job of that recently.
You've held 7 of your last 8 opponents, I think, under 68. So defense, obviously, a calling card for this team.
Definitely, I think that there have been some games that our offense has played at a pretty high level. The Washington game, the UCLA game. But then, we just didn't have our A or B. I don't know what letter it was versus, USC. But you touched on it. We created 24 turnovers. I think our 18 in the second half, and our conditioning, our energy. I think the 4 position has really been productive, and that's been a difference too. Between Mickey Mitchell, Tayshaun Cherry, and Khalid Thomas, those guys have provided more production and more energy in our pressure, and it's given us a real lift. And with Tayshaun now going on the shelf for a little bit, we have to have the next guy step up mentality to continue to build off what we've been doing at that position lately.
Coach, a while ago you said if the team had a few more wins, Remy would kind of get the recognition he deserves around the conference. Has it gotten to that point, or do you think there's still do you think there is somewhere he can get?
I think most coaches and people that follow the league understand and know how good he is and what, he's one of the best players in the conference. He already had the run of 7 straight 20-point games, and so every team that had to watch that knows he's capable. Putting up big numbers, and then when you add the winning component, then all of a sudden, I think he should be in the discussion with a lot of the elite players that get talked about a lot in our league, and that's it'll be a byproduct of winning basketball games.
What challenges Stanford present the most?
They're young, but they've really I love their young point guard. Terry is got ability to shoot and very creative guard, and Jones is another knockdown shooter. But I think they've been hanging their hat, as I touched on earlier, just by playing with great energy, and they're in the right positions on defense. It's very fundamentally sound defense, and they force you to take some tough shots. We're going to have to really travel and defend and be open to the possibility that it may not be a high-scoring, easy game to navigate because of how well they guard.
Where have you made the most strides defensively since the season started?
Our pressure I thought would be consistent. I think that we've hung in on the rebounding piece, and that's always key in how you defend, and just trying to continue to develop and get better in the areas defensively that you are good at, like just being able to create that many turnovers just gives you so many more shot attempts than your opponent, which is helpful.
You lost 2 all-league defenders last year, yet statistically you're better defensively. Did you think that was possible?
I just think the speed. I just knew the guards would get after it, and then we've, as I touched on, we had a greater commitment, I think, from the 4 position to not think that they're going to play 40 minutes in the game. That position has been chopped up quite a bit, where they're playing in like 3 to 4 minute intervals, and they're given what they have, and they're really flying around and trapping and just creating some chaos out there, and that's been helpful.
You guys go through shooting slumps or end up falling behind. When you're on the road versus at home, does the mindset for breaking out of those slumps change when you don't have the home crowd behind you?
I don't look at it that way as much. I know that that's an added bonus. The energy you get from your crowd certainly is a plus. But we have guys that I think are winners or competitors, and you get down in a game, they don't put their head down. They're just going to keep competing.
Cavani was saying just a second ago that he thought the team was playing like individuals at the beginning of the conference season. There's something that you can maybe point your finger toward that allowed guys to sort of buy into their collective?
I think some guys were searching. We were searching just to try and find a rotation that guys would know the minutes they were getting, maybe have a better feel for their role. I think a great example of that is the way Alonzo Verge has played the last couple of games, just really in a great groove right now. And some of that is just learning to play with Remy and getting the minutes that he knows he's going to get, and he just seems like he's just in a great rhythm. So I think some of it has to do with that. And we were searching to find the right combinations, and now I think we've kind of settled in the last couple of games to lineups, and that's but we always have to stay on guard with that and make sure that we're not going backwards, because we do have other guys that haven't played that now may get an opportunity, especially with Tayshaun with his injury.
Do you know off the top of your head if your deflection numbers are really up comparatively?
It was something that we focus on, we talk about a lot in practice and leading into games, and it's a part of our game goals. We do chart those, and when we're in the 30s with deflections, then we're really getting after it defensively the way we need to.
What has Romello really improved upon defensively just throughout the last couple of years?
He's been so reliable. I think he's maybe understands as maturity and getting older in the program development that just knowing where to be in the right positions and understanding our defensive scheme. And His conditioning, he's really attacked the offseason. He's in great shape. He's been in great shape, so he's very active in our ball screens. He's very good in ball screens, and he's really battled. He's had some tough matchups lately with with Arizona's front line and Washington and USC, and so he's had his work cut out for him. He's done a great job.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.